My first guest is a man who directed MASH, and Brewster McCloud and McCabe and Mrs. Miller, and he's also the man who once said an interesting thing. He said, no one has ever made a good movie. That could be the theme of our conversation tonight. I think maybe he's being too modest, but here's a clip from MASH, M-A-S-H, and after that we will meet Robert Altman. Take a look at this. We welcome the director of that film, Robert Altman. Does it seem odd to see a little bit of the movie after this long, like that? Does it?
Yeah, the last time I saw it was here, I think.
We showed some of that before.
No.
Maybe even that same part. What does it feel like when you see a film a year later? Do you have a critical eye for things you might have done over?
Well, it's embarrassing, but I like it.
You like it?
Yeah, it's surprising.
You know that when Orson Welles was here, he honestly backstage would not look at his clips when they were on the screen. He just...
Well, he's more sensible than I am, because I still like what I do.
Say, who was that actor who was so brilliant in McCabe and Mrs. Miller? And he was the big, tall man at the end, the marksman.
Oh, Hugh Millay.
He's
never acted before. That was his first.
That's funny, because I thought his name sounded familiar. I watched The Crawl, and then I forgot the name. He's never acted.
His grandfather was a painter.
Yeah.
But I just used him in a very much larger role in the film I just finished.
Now, how can you take a guy who hasn't acted and know that it's not going to be a disaster?
Well, he's not expensive, so
yeah.
The replacement is easy, and I just felt that, well, basically Hugh is a sort of a con man anyway, so he's been acting all his life, and it was very easy. He did exactly the same thing that he does.
Yeah, he was so good at that. What do you mean by this mysterious quote that nobody...
well,
it was in an article, wasn't it? You said about nobody has ever really made a good movie.
No, what I said was that I feel that the medium of film has not yet really been explored. In other words, I think that when we started a film, we took it from theater, literature, and we were an extension of another art form. And it's still that way. It's getting away from it. And I think that eventually somebody will make a film that is purely a film, and the audience can respond to as such. And I don't think it's been done.
How could it not have anything to do with anything else? I mean, it has to have dialogue, doesn't it? It has to have...
Well, no. I think it's...
Well, they didn't for a long time, didn't they?
Yeah,
Come to think of it.
I think it's like a painting, an experience. It's got... The only limitations are the linear ones. It has length. It has its beginning and an end. It takes a certain amount of time. Yeah. But I think that ideally the audience can look at a film, emotionally get the whole thing, and not necessarily be able to explain it to somebody else. They say, hey, how'd you like the picture? I liked it.
Should they be able to tell what it means?
Yeah, to them. I think they should, to themselves, they should feel and know what it means. And it happens in sections of films that you see today. You get an impression. Yeah. And you know what it means, but you can't articulate it.
You must make scriptwriters furious, because you will let the actors improvise things, make up things, and you'll shoot even rehearsals sometimes, don't you? Or is that true that you shot some rehearsals for MASH?
Well, in MASH we had to, but I mean, the whole picture was getting out of hand.
Yeah.
But the film I just finished was my own screenplay, and I must say to any writers out there that I treated mine worse than I did any of yours.
Treated yours what? Worse?
My own screenplay.
Your own script, I see.
But it's not, I don't consider that we're misusing the screenplay. We use it as it's a guide, and I'm trying to just bring the impression, the behavior that the author intended, or that we all intended, to the best way possible.
Do you have any idea why we're so different? I'm thinking of one certain thing I know about you, and that is, to look at you, you look like maybe a quiet conservative businessman, but you can get drunk and stay out all night and a couple of nights and then go right to work, and I've heard this anyway, I don't know if it's true. If I did that, I would be rolled in flat on my face to work, and I would have to have a transfusion and sent home.
Well,
or have I misrepresented you?
No, I sometimes don't sleep as much as I should.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid of the dark, and I'm worried that I can't really do what I have to do the next day. So I stay awake and ignore it.
Is that what it is? You'll stay up because you don't want to have the horribles that come with going to sleep?
I think so.
Yeah. Gee.
I really look at a film and I think there's no way to do this tomorrow, and then after I see a film, I say, how did they do that? I don't know how it gets done.
Yeah. Do you have any heroes among the filmmakers?
Oh, a lot. I think primarily the early filmmakers in Hollywood, who, you know, I'm always asked, being a late arrival to the critics and things, I'm always asked, who are your favorite, who influenced you, and what directors influenced you? And the truth of it is, I probably don't know their names, because I was very influenced when I was very young by films, but I didn't know there was a director.
It's strange to think there was an age when people didn't go to movies because of a certain director, but because of who's in the movies. And, yeah. Now directors are stars in a very odd way, which may not be good. Maybe we can talk about that some more. Let's take a little march through time with Bird's Eye Frozen Orange Plus, and we'll be back